the first trip, and most of you have seen this, is a trip to the Philippines. Now, I've done this trip twice before, and it is absolutely crazy. So just a couple of the pictures here. This one is in El Nido, the one in the middle there. That's a photo I took myself from one of those little cottages you can see in the top right there. I took that photo from where I was staying, and we were staying there, and you're paying peanuts for accommodation, and as you can see, the view is simply amazing. So we went fishing there, or went diving there, and also, yeah, they take you on a tour around all these little islands on this boat. So that's something that's part of the trip as well. So this is going to be absolutely awesome. So let me go into a few details about the trip. So we're going to visit more than 10 islands, because the Philippines is actually, an archipelago of all these different islands. I think it's over 1,000 islands or something absolutely crazy like that. So we hop around the different islands via plane, and also when we do that little boat trip that I mentioned, we go all between the different islands, and then we go to like this hidden beach where they like cook you fresh seafood lunch and everything. It's absolutely crazy and absolutely awesome. Now, a huge part of this trip is actually the motorcycle trip. So with the motorcycle trip, we land on the capital of this small island called Palawan, and we stay in this place called Puerto Princesa. Now, when we say city, it's absolutely tiny, but it's just a really, really cool place. They have a few bars, a few nice restaurants. There's actually this small cafe that has just the best mango cake in the whole entire world. Anyway, so we start there, we hire the motorbikes, we make sure that everyone's actually competent and isn't going to crash. And then what we do is we ride these motorbikes. It's about an 8 or 10 hour ride, all the way up from Puerto Princesa, all the way up to El Nido. Now, it's an early day with a late finish, but it is absolutely insane. After about 10 minutes, we're out of the city, and the road goes from paved to unpaved to an absolute piece of shit. But it's a whole lot of fun. So we go through all of these small towns, and a lot of these villages, and it's quite typical of a lot of the Philippines, is they just never see tourists. So I remember one point I was riding along with one of my mates, and we're going through this town, and all of these kids that are in this school, that we're in this tiny little town, and by town I mean it's a school and a small store. That's it, on this dirt road. And we're driving through town, and all the kids literally get up in their classroom and run outside and are waving at us and that sort of stuff. It's absolutely awesome. So we do that, and we stop at a couple of places along the way to eat. There's some like cool little Filipino restaurants and that sort of stuff. So we do that ride. We get to El Nido later in the day, and some of the views along this ride are insane. Like, I remember one point we go over a hill, and there's just like pure ocean out to one side. It's really, really awesome. But the second half of the trip is a bit of a slog, just because of the condition of the road. Apparently, I was chatting to a guy there, and apparently about 2,500 tons of concrete went missing over there, which is why the road didn't get finished. But anyway, so we ride all the way up to El Nido. When you get to El Nido, it'll probably just be getting dark, but we'll have dinner, and when you wake up the next morning, the view will just absolutely blow your mind. And that's just the same from that photo that I showed you earlier. So for those of you that don't know how to scuba dive, there's the opportunity to learn how to scuba dive there. So I've done a couple of dives there, and the view and the scenery is just amazing. So you can actually get your scuba diving license. So learn all the basics, go through everything. It's all included in it. And if you are already basics certified, you can get your advanced scuba. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. So we spend a few days going out on the boat, and they have like a Filipino boat. We go out there and we dive off some of the islands. It's really, really awesome. And after that, so once we've done all of our relaxing and all of our diving and that sort of stuff, then we head to Boracay. Now, Boracay is like the Gold Coast or Bali of the Philippines. So that's where everyone goes to party and to go on holiday. So that's where we might run into some, some friendly female travelers and that sort of stuff. It's actually a really, really cool place. So it's all one road built along one sort of beach, and there's just hotels, and it's separated into stations. So there's station 1, which is like the fancy upmarket resorts. Then you've got station 2, which is sort of in the middle. And then you've got station 3, which is your backpackers, hostels, that sort of stuff. So we'll probably stay in 2 or 3. And that's just because that's where all the backpackers and tourists are. And happy hour on Boracay, when I was there, goes from about midday till about 7 p.m. or something like that. And a really funny thing about the Philippines is they don't know how to drink. So whenever you get a drink, it's always typically more alcohol than it is whatever mixer they put in, and oftentimes it's because the alcohol is actually cheaper than whatever the juice it is they're mixing with. So anyway, it's a whole lot of fun at Boracay, and I spent 4 days there, and we stayed at this place that called itself the Facebook Resort, and you might have seen the photos sort of stuck around everywhere on the BroTrips Facebook page. But it's absolutely awesome and a really, really cool place to finally, party after a few days of motorcycling and having fun. So just a few details about the trip that are probably worth knowing. All of the cost, because as you've noticed on the website, it's $1,750 for this trip. It's 12 days, 11 nights, so it's a fair hike, and that's because we just don't want to have to rush through everything. It includes all accommodation. There will be internal flights, so for example, we'll fly from Manila to Palawan to Boracay, and that sort of stuff. All transfers, so sometimes we have to get boats and those sorts of things. All activities, so it includes your scuba certificate, includes motorcycle hire, and some meals. So in some of the places we'll be having dinner and lunch and that sort of stuff. If you want to know that in detail, just get in touch. But yeah, all of your all your internal flights and transport. Things that aren't included, international flights. Just to let you know, for the Philippines, I was looking it up. It's about $650 to $750 return to Melbourne. To Perth, it's normally a bit cheaper. Sydney and Brisbane are about the same. Visa on arrival, so you don't need to worry about that unless you're staying for more than 30 days. But also doesn't include things like tips when you're tipping, all the different areas and that sort of stuff. Now, just a note on the motorcycles. With a lot of your insurance, your holiday insurance, you're not covered unless you have a Victorian an Australian motorcycle license. So just make sure that you check in on that. And to get your learner's permit, depending on which state you're in, if you're in Australia, if you don't have it, it's actually quite easy. And once you have your learners, you can drive a certain vehicle under a certain power to weight ratio. It's like $200 or something. You get that. It'll take you a day, I think it is, to get it. And from there, when you go overseas, it means you don't have to stress about it. And also, you're going to have some basic skills as well. So just something worth noting that, if you do come off your bike, you've got to make sure you're covered by your travel insurance, and oftentimes they won't. Yeah, this fire sale, it's going to be absolutely awesome. So it's going to be on May 23rd at midday. So start saving your pennies. So what is a fire sale and what's the trip? So we're going to be starting the trips off and giving a really heavy discount on the trip. So the Philippines trip is $1,750. On that Friday at 12 p.m, we're going to be opening slots for $1,450. So that's $300 off. So I want you to think that for that, you're getting your motorcycle hire, all of your internal flights, your scuba diving license, all of your accommodation, tour guide the whole way along. It's actually really, really, really cheap. And for the Indonesia one, instead of $1,550, it's going down to $1,250. So that's a complete bargain. And if you add flights on top of both of those, you're only looking at about $2,000, which for 10 days is just insane. So it's going to be a completely awesome time. So we only have 6 spots left on each trip. And as each one sells, the price will go up by $50. So if you order straight away at midday, you'll get it for $14.50. The next person orders will be $15. The next person $15.50. The next person $16.50, etc. until they're all sold. Now, if you are bringing a mate along, and you want to get multiple tickets, then whatever the price is in at, so let's just say you order 3 tickets at $14.50, then you'll get 3 tickets at $14.50, and then the price will straight away go up to $1,600, for example. So there's a real advantage to you to reserve multiple tickets. Get a mate to come along, and get in there. So as I said, the first in is going to get the cheapest price, and we only require a $300 deposit if that part's the issue. So for example, let's just say we're running it on a Friday, you can't do it to Monday. That's fine, you just have to get in touch with us and let us know. We just want to make sure that these spots are going to people that actually want them and the people that actually are really, really stoked to come along on these trips. So it's going to start at midday for both trips. We're going to be posting links on the Facebook page, and also we've got an email database that you can join where you'll get notified at midday at 12 p.m. Let us know if this is something that you're going to be interested in participating in, because there's the opportunity for us to add extra dates and those sorts of things if this goes really, really well. So as I said, the whole reason we're doing this is because we want all these trips to be sold so that we can start focusing on the next trips and just start planning these. So when you do join a BroTrips trip, you become part of the BroTrips Brotherhood, which means you get discounts on all future trips. For this, you're also going to be getting t-shirts and some cool merch to come along with and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be really, really awesome. And once you're a part of it and once you've come along, we have no doubt you're going to be coming on more and more trips with us, and you do get first preference on future trips. And as I said, so Brotherhood discount pricing. Just a question that gets asked a little bit from our Facebook page through messages and comments and that sort of stuff is, are women and girls welcome to come along? Absolutely. We recognize that girls can be bros as well, so there's absolutely no hesitation. If you want to bring along a girl or a female, or if you are a girl or a female and want to come, we more than welcome you, because we know sometimes we need you to prove the boys right and show them how to actually drink and how to actually have fun. So come along. we're going to have an awesome time. So as I said, these things are going to be on the Facebook page, and also you can join our email list. Just click through our website. There's an Inquire Now button. Click that. Just fill out your details, and then you'll be on our email database. So don't worry about getting lots of phone calls or anything like that. Just click Inquire Now, and I'll know that anyone between now and next week who enters that just wants to be notified about the fire sale. So it's going to be awesome. Really, really looking forward to having you come along. And yeah, grab these deals, because as I said, $14.50 and $12.50 for these trips is really, really cheap. And the earlier you get in, the cheaper price you're going to get. So really, really looking forward to meeting some of you and having an absolutely awesome time. Thanks, guys. Bye.